We are live and direct. Great weekend for sports if you are a Charlotte
great weekend
resident.
Hey, man. Gorgeous outside yesterday.
It is gorgeous today.
Gorgeous today.
Well,
man. Lakers, well, no, they won.
Lakers won. So the Malik Monk fans are
out and about.
At the plug.
Yeah.
That's why we're never going to make it as professional journalists.
No objectivity whatsoever.
None. Absolutely none. But, yeah, interesting weekends for Charlotte sports. Since the last time you saw us, the Hornets went 2-2.
I don't think there's ever not an interesting week when it comes to the Hornets.
No. Yeah, every week is. That's why I love this team. I'll be honest with you.
They're more interesting than they have ever been.
Than maybe in the last 10 years or so.
Probably. Maybe ever.
Charlotte FC played their first home game, broke the record for largest attendance in a Major League Soccer game, 74,000, which is mind-blowing if you think about it, that Major League Soccer, which is kind of like the stepchild of North American professional sports, could pull 74,000 people.
But remember what I told you off camera, what I was more impressed with?
That it didn't take from
the Charlotte Hornets crowd.
Did not.
The Charlotte Hornets still had 19,000 at the arena for their game versus the San Antonio Spurs.
Really good game.
That's pretty
really
big.
Good crowd there. Also, the end of the chapter of the greatest rivalry in college sports, maybe sports of all time.
Absolutely.
I'll debate anybody on this. North Carolina versus Duke.
Greatest rivalry probably in sports.
This was Mike Krzyzewski's last game coaching the Duke Blue Devils against the Tar Heels, and they lost.
What a fitting way to send old K out.
Oh boy. Yeah, just a great weekend.
Just a great weekend, man.
But we gotta start with the bad stuff.
Yeah,
let's get the bad stuff out of the way.
Of course.
The Charlotte Hornets, since you last saw us,
who should be on a 3-game winning streak. Should be.
Correct. Yes, they should be on the 3-game winning streak, but
something happened.
Yeah, things didn't quite start off the way that they wanted to. I'm sure everyone had them pegged as beating the Detroit Pistons last Sunday, but they lost by 1 point in overtime.
Look,
127-126.
Even the suckiest teams get tired of getting beat by the same team.
Yeah,
the streak had to end.
It had to end sometime.
I just hate it had to end that way.
Well, I mean, it was. I mean, they wanted to win more. They were like, look, we are tired of losing,
and they played like it
to the Charlotte Hornets. Yeah, absolutely. They were sick of losing to the Charlotte Hornets, and they went out and did what they had to do. They fought for every rebound, every possession. The Hornets looked like they felt like they deserved to win, so that's how they played.
Right,
and unfortunately, they just got
out. And let's, you know what. That is the most frustrating part of this loss. Walking out there like you deserve to win, because we all remember the game against the Orlando Magic earlier this season. How do you not learn from? Well, I know the answer to that question, but you would think you would learn from that situation earlier this season. And the story of this game, was we're going to break down and analyze this game, but if you want to just throw out all the analytics and stats, you know what it was? Just they got outworked.
They got outworked.
They got out hustled.
Miles Bridges said it best in the post-game press conference. They just wanted to win more. Sometimes that's all it takes in any professional sport.
Yeah, right.
And it's not like the Pistons don't have talent. We saw Cade Cunningham.
Cool. Somebody had a bad day against Cade Cunningham.
I'm not going to say who that person was that had a bad day against Cade Cunningham.
You get in trouble when you say stuff like that.
That was, they're not completely devoid of talent, and they have enough to when they play like that, they can be better teams like the Hornets. And it's not like the Hornets are like world beaters anyway, So yeah, that was a blunder. A pretty massive blunder.
And look, man, I have smoke for one particular player in this game. And well, actually, there's a couple of different players who deserve smoke, but I'm going to save my smoke for one particular guy, and that's Mr. Montrezl Harrell. And he's a hot topic this week because, you got some people who think he He needs more minutes. I just want to throw it out there that he's averaging about 26 minutes a game for the Hornets since he's been here. But the argument against him is that they haven't been consistent. You look at this game right here, and it's probably going to tell you why those minutes have not been consistent. Okay? To start off with, Mr. Montrezl Harrell played 24 minutes this game, had 2 points and 4 rebounds in 24 minutes. And on top of that, did not have a great game defensively. And on top of that, could not grab a damn rebound when it absolutely mattered. To be fair, he was not the only one.
No.
But that's what he's there for. He's there to be the hustle guy. And when your team get out-hustled and your hustle guy is not out-hustling the other guys, that's the beef I have. I'm sorry.
There are people on this team that if they had put up that kind of performance,
they'd be flamed.
Yeah, they'd be, I'm just saying. Having said that, I really like the Montrezl Harrell trade. I like him.
I still do.
I
want to be clear about that.
I hope the Hornets can find some way to entice him to stay and keep within, what their cap situation is going to be. But, games like this, and then I even posted, okay, I guess the Harrell honeymoon is over.
Right.
Because he didn't play well in any game up before last night.
Yeah.
He wasn't playing that well. There could be a lot of different reasons. He's still new to the team. He's still learning stuff. He is not, okay, Hornets fans, here's what y'all got to stop doing. You'll take a player that you like for any reason, normally a non-basketball reason, and then you will assign attributes to that player that don't exist.
That don't exist. Or skill sets that don't exist.
We all love Montrezl Harrell. We love the energy that he brings. He gives the Hornets a lot of different offensive options. There's a reason he was the sixth man of the year.
I like how vocal he is.
Yes, I love him.
Right.
Stop saying he can defend. Stop it. He's not a good defender. I don't really mean that as a knock on him, but that's just who he is. That's not the kind of player he is. First of all, he's small. He's only 6'8" in his shoes. He tries to play big, and I think a lot of times offensively he can play a lot bigger than he is.
Right.
But defensively, ain't nobody scared of going to
the rim
to the paint because Montrezl Harrell's there, and he's an average rebounder. He's very active, and he can rebound well in some situations because he's active. But he's not like it's weird because Hornets fans are like, man, we need a center who can protect the rim and rebound, and Montrezl Harrell does none of those things yet. Everyone's like, oh, fine. Oh, we got a center. He should start.
A center who's never started anywhere in his career. Anywhere. Let's get that straight. Anywhere. Some people are meant to be 6 men coming off the bench. Harrell is that. I don't think that will ever change on any team.
I'm just saying this would be his fourth coaching staff.
Yeah.
That has not started him.
That has not started him.
There's a reason.
There's a trend. There's a trend there.
It's not like you would think someone would say, why don't we start this guy?
And look, man, see, and here's the thing, man. It's gonna come off like we're piling on. And we're not. Let me tell y'all something, man. We are reactionary. We react to what we see out there in Twitter land and internet land and Facebook land and all this stuff. This is just a reaction. This is not saying we don't love the guy. Like Kaza said, I agree with him on this. We need to find a way to get him back here next season because I do love what he does bring to the table, which is the hustle, which is the effort and the energy. But when he doesn't bring the hustle, the effort, the energy, he's pretty worthless. It's just what it is.
Yeah.
If he's not that, he doesn't bring anything else. So we need that guy consistently.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me ask you this. When you saw Kelly Olynyk get that ball, I knew. I thought.
My face went numb. I knew the game was over as soon as he got the ball. About that particular play, man. This is young team stuff right there. Everybody who knows basketball knew who was going to get the ball. and they got caught on the switch. PJ Washington came a little too late to close out on Olenek.
He made a good defensive play on the ball.
It was just too late.
If PJ
it was a
Washington,
second too late.
If he was an inch taller, Olenek might have missed that.
But let me tell you something. Is there a worse player who could hit that?
Kelly Olynyk, in only 24 minutes, 20 points, 8 rebounds, 4 for 5 from 3, 7 for 13 from the field.
You know what the funny
what
part?
The hell?
You know what the funny part about that was? He took himself out the game. Like
he did.
He actually put his hand on. Like I'm tired of drilling threes in their face. Let me sit down for a second.
I didn't know how to. I was numb after that.
I was sick.
But
man.
you look at the box score. Up and down, the Hornets got thoroughly outplayed from the starters and the bench.
And look, I'm a guy that also does not mind giving the other team credit. I don't care what their record is. So sometimes it's okay to give the other team credit, man. Look, Jeremy Grant came to play, 26 points. We probably haven't seen that from him in a long time against us. Sadiq Bey hit a big shot in overtime, man, 28 points, man. Cade Cunningham, he took LaMelo's lunch in the fourth quarter overtime. He had 19. I mean, look, it's okay to give the other team credit, man. Yeah. Like we said, they outworked us and they wanted the game more. And
actually, the Hornets, they need losses like that.
But however, I get what you're saying. But at this point in the damn season, I don't want the lessons right now.
I would have thought they would have learned that lesson like in the Houston game
or the Orlando game.
Young team problems. I guess that's JB's fault. Then right after that, they played the Milwaukee Bucks, and we just got evaporated.
Oh boy!
I guess
throw the game away.
I guess the Bucks got tired of playing these close games against the Hornets and was like, you know what? Let's separate. Let's show them why we are the defending champions.
I want to give one player from the Bucks credit because Giannis is Giannis. We don't have to go into how good Giannis is, right? The Bucks are they're already a good team, but when Drew Holiday plays like that, they're gonna be really hard to beat, man.
LaMelo Ball actually had a great game. That game, he really gets up against Milwaukee Bucks. I think because they have a player like Giannis, and he feels like
LaMelo gets up against the stars, man.
He does. 24 points, only 2 assists. But that's because no one else could hit a damn shot. I think Miles Bridges used up all his gummy bear juice against Detroit because he hasn't had any since then. He looked particularly bad in this game. 5 for 14 from the field. He did shoot 3 for 6 from 3, but 14 points, 3 rebounds. That's not going to get it done.
So you know what the weird part about this game is? We're tied after the first quarter, and that second quarter, my goodness. We get outscored 44-21 in the second quarter, and that's basically the ball game. That's it. To
let you know what kind of game this was, Kai Jones got 7 minutes. Not 4,
7 whole minutes.
7 minutes. The game was out of reach at that point. I don't really feel like dwelling on this game. I mean,
I don't either.
You look at the box score, I
do want to point out that Montrezl Harrell was 1 for 8. That game,
4 rebounds, 9 points.
Yeah,
and he had 25 minutes. Kelly Oubre was Kelly Oubre-ish. Didn't shoot well, but had good production. Terry Rozier, fairly steady. The Hornets just didn't shoot well. Although they shot 36% from 3, which is a little above league average and just only a little below what they normally shoot. But they only shot 38% from the field.
Not gonna get it done. Look, man, one more thing before we move on, because I agree with you. We're not gonna spend too much time on this game, man. Can I just tell you how much I hate Bobby Portis? Is that okay to say on the show?
I don't body shame people, but his googly eye. You ever seen Pee-wee's Big Adventure with large Mars?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
That's Bobby Portis.
That's Bobby Portis.
Bobby Portis is large.
In NBA player form.
Yes.
And I don't know who pissed it. Somebody pissed him off in the first quarter. I forgot. I think it was Kelly Oubre. Remember him and Kelly Oubre kind of got into a little whatever in the first quarter, and then he took it out on us the rest of the game, man.
Yeah, Bobby Portis has been a Hornets killer his entire
for a long time
career. Maybe we should just sign him.
Remember when he had like 35 in the first half against us a few years ago when he played the Bulls?
Yeah, just Just sign the guy.
Yeah. Sign all the Hornets killers. That's
Kelly Olynyk, Bobby Portis.
We got Oubre. Oubre used to kill us when he was in Washington. So
maybe that's the key. Maybe that's why.
That's it.
Yep. But then after that game, the tides turned and we played Cleveland, a team that has been a thorn in our side for the entire season.
And who saw that coming? Like before the season? Who said we're gonna have trouble with Cleveland?
Actually. There's a guy in the Hornets group. He's banned now, but he did call it. I'll give him that. He called it. He said that Cleveland's guards were going to be real good. The guard rotation,
which they are.
Yep, was going to be tough for Charlotte to handle, and the Jarrett Allen pickup was going to be good for him. He called it. I'll give him that. But I think what's happening is that Cleveland is starting to regress to the mean.
Which is a bad time to do so. But
they are. But I mean. And their fans, I posted this in the Hornets group.
Funny.
Go to the Cleveland Cavs, like their Reddit page, and read what they're saying about now. Cleveland's, at least at the time they played the Hornets, were the number 5 team in the Eastern Conference.
Right.
I mean, we'd love to be the number 5 team in the Eastern Conference, but their fans, they hate everything about the Cavs. They hate the coaching staff. They hate the GM. They hate everybody and everything. They just, I'm like.
It is important to note that team is 5 years removed from a chip?
Yes, that's, yeah.
But it's still ridiculous. I mean, come on, man. Like, there's nobody in the free world who had Cleveland being the number 5 or 6 seed at this point in the season.
Nobody. And Cleveland actually had a harder tougher strength of schedule than Charlotte did. They played just as many Western Conference teams. They had a great first half of the season, but they've kind of fallen off. They've been on a skid of late.
But back to this game in particular, man. I want to say this. This game made me very proud. This game was one of the more impressive wins of this season, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Look, I hate this term, especially at this point in the season, because they all are. But this was must win. This was absolutely must win game. You drop this game, and I mean, with Hornets fans, the sky is always falling. But you drop this game, and you really, really get worried about team chemistry and the effect it's going to have on a team.
Or at least I would have been okay with a close loss.
Right.
But to blow them out.
Yeah, it's impressive, man.
Essentially without LaMelo Ball, who only played 8 minutes due to foul trouble. I'm talking like super foul trouble. He only played 8 minutes, and the Hornets still won 119-98. And the thing is they had a great performance from Terry Rozier, but otherwise, it was just kind of everyone else just kind of gave good, solid performances.
However, we got to look at what they did defensively.
Yes.
They held them to under 100 points.
Yes.
That's big, man. 2 18-point quarters for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Second quarter and the fourth quarter, they scored 18 points. When's the last time the Charlotte Hornets have held somebody 18 points in the fourth quarter?
I think this is part of the reason why, if you look at the Hornets, right before the All-Star break till now, their offense has suffered.
Yeah,
that's one of the reasons why for the slide. But that's because they're actually getting better defensively, and it's going to take time for that to balance out.
Yeah.
The Hornet, you have to. Del Curry said it last night in the broadcast. There was a sequence, which we'll get to in a minute, in which the Spurs had 3 straight offensive rebounds. And he said,
I was getting worried.
Boy, yeah. He said, you expend a lot of energy having to defend for that long. And after that, the Hornets did not have another field goal until the last minute of the game. They essentially won that game because they were getting to the line and hitting free throws. And it's the same thing with playing. You play defense, your offense is going to suffer because you have to expend so much energy playing defense.
Yeah.
But that real good defensive performance, and also
the debut of
Mr.
Isaiah
Thomas.
Yes,
first game as a Hornet, signed to a 10-day contract, and he played pretty well.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was decent.
Statistically,
didn't shoot the ball great, but he did exactly what I wanted him to do. Exactly what he's exactly. No, Jamal. Because I'm in the Hornets group, and they told me that it just didn't make any sense to sign
A shoot first, no defense playing point guard. Even though they all love Ish Smith. Everyone loved Ish Smith.
Time out. we would have been just fine with Kemba Walker, right? Right. I love me some Kemba Walker. Is he a pass first point guard? Is he a defensive stopper?
No.
Was Ish Smith some defensive savant?
No.
Was he necessary? I say all this to say, right now, a week later, I am still surprised at how mad Hornets Nation was when we signed Isaiah. It still baffles me why people were so upset. Help me out.
Yeah, okay, I can see the point because a lot of people feel like we still need a center. But the thing is,
because if we would have, let's say we would have got a center, that's 4 centers on the roster.
Hello. The Hornets needed a backup point guard. They needed someone to do.
They needed to replace Ish Smith.
And think about this: Mitch Kupchak went out and gave up Ish Smith to get a solid center, and now has essentially replaced Ish Smith for literally nothing.
For nothing, right. You gave them.
That's what a GM does. Has Mitch improved the roster with those 2 moves? Trading for Montrezl Harrell and then signing Isaiah Thomas has the roster improved? Absolutely. Yep. That's his job as a GM. Doesn't make us a contender or even a playoff team.
Right.
Probably not, but the roster is clearly better than we were before, especially with injuries to key players like Gordon Hayward and Jalen McDaniels. Right. As much as it pains me to call Jalen McDaniels a key player, he simply is.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
While we're here, I got to get all this Isaiah Thomas stuff off my brain, man. I want to talk about him some more, man. I will say this: you know, we don't go overboard with the JB hate. I will say this is something I don't understand about the backup point guard situation. Me and you have talked about, and I'll say this again, how I'm not necessarily in love with Terry Rozier being the de facto point guard. To be fair, he's done a decent job. Right. It's not like some horrible job. My where I come from with that is I just want Terry Rozier to play more at his strength.
At a catch and shoot 2 guard
off the ball. Right. You know what I mean? And I just think if you give Isaiah Thomas those backup point guard minutes, it frees up the Kelly Oubre's and the Terry Roziers. It makes their job easier. And right. Cody Martin as well. It makes their job easier if you have somebody like that. Even though Isaiah Thomas is looked at as a shoot-first point guard, to me, he's just a playmaker. He's going to make the right play.
He can run offense.
Yeah. It's that simple. We can overanalyze shoot first and all we want to, but he's going to be a playmaker. And that's something I don't know if we'll see going forward. We didn't even see Isaiah Thomas in last night's game. I don't know how that's going to work, but we'll see. I don't know.
Yes, because a lot of people are saying the only reason we saw Isaiah Thomas is because LaMelo Ball was in foul trouble.
Right.
Fair point, but LaMelo Ball is always in foul trouble. So we might see more of Isaiah Thomas. Although I will say, I don't like what JB is doing with essentially having Terry be the starting 2 guard and the backup point guard. I don't like that. But I think what he's trying to do, a lot of people feel like JB needs to have broader rotation. Like we need to be deeper. Mm-hmm. But guys, go back and look at box scores from playoffs last 10 years if you want.
It's always 8, 9 deep.
Exactly. 8, 9 player
Nobody
rotations.
goes 10 deep.
Nobody goes 10 deep unless it's a blowout.
Right.
So I think JB is like, man, I gotta find who those 8, 9 players are. Right. And the problem is that there's not a whole lot of separation in total skill set between a lot of the players. It's just that some players do things like they'll do one thing better than player X, but another thing worse than player X.
Like Cody Martin is clearly a better defender
than anybody on the team. Right, yeah. Which is, like last night, a lot of people were like, man, Montrezl Harrell didn't come in late, but Cody Martin got a lot of those. In fact, he was the sub for Harrell in the third quarter.
And just side note, Cody Martin has played very well since he's been back. Cody Martin has actually had a pretty damn good week.
Hey, yeah, he's looking. He's getting back to pre-COVID Cody. It might be too late in terms of him getting in terms of him getting a contract, rookie extension, contract in the offseason. But
plus 23 in that Cleveland game.
Yeah, he played some stellar defense last night on Keldon Johnson. We'll get to that game in a minute. But he's playing like he realizes that his minutes could be in jeopardy. So especially when Jalen McDaniels comes back or when Gordon Hayward comes back, if either of those guys come back this season. So good win from Cleveland. I don't care if Cleveland's on the slide or not. That was a win. The Hornets
much needed win, if anything else, man. Yeah.
And then last night, those pesky San Antonio Spurs, and I call them pesky is because the reason they always play well against us is obvious. It's the Pop versus JB. It's the chess match.
Nobody's gonna tell me those two dudes are fiercely competitive against each other. Man.
JB, and by the way, with the win last night, James Borrego now has a winning record against Greg Popovich.
Oh no, that's not possible.
Yeah,
no.
Yeah,
no, that's not possible.
Yeah, I got it wrong because JB would never.
He's not in the class of Greg Popovich. What are you talking about?
But yeah, and so I think a lot of times when we see stuff like we look at the rotations from last night and people are like, he's trying to out chess match, his mentor. Greg Popovich knew I got a hot guy in Keldon Johnson. Okay, nobody on the Hornets can stop him. I mean, you look at when he came out and Montrezl Harrell was in the game when Keldon Johnson was out of the game. End of the third quarter comes. JB, I'm almost certain, is thinking, Keldon Johnson's going to come back in for the fourth quarter because we have taken the lead. Pop's not going to sit him for too long.
Right.
So he pulls Montrezl Harrell and plays Cody Martin. Now, Keldon Johnson doesn't come in to the 7-minute mark. But at that point, you're going to put Montrezl Harrell back in when you had a guy score 33 points on you in the first three quarters?
It wouldn't make sense.
So he leaves Cody Martin out there. And what happens? Keldon Johnson goes 0 for 6.
You stole the words out. He scores 0 against Cody Martin. Yes.
0 points in the fourth quarter, and the Hornets hang on to win. Now, you could either say that Borrego got lucky or what.
I'm sorry. No,
if you don't want to give him credit,
I'm not saying Borrego got lucky because I specifically tweeted last night. I said, I hope everybody noticed the substitution pattern in the fourth quarter with JB. He basically subbed offense for defense.
Yes.
Because all throughout the entire game, I kept saying, man, look, the Hornets, they shared the ball beautifully all night. I want to say that. The offense was clicking last night, but they just couldn't figure out anything defensively, mainly against Keldon Johnson, mainly against him, but just overall, they just couldn't figure out anything defensively to get any momentum going in that aspect. In the fourth quarter, when it mattered the most, if you look at how JB was subbing during the fourth quarter, to be simple, it was offense for defense. And look at how it worked out when it actually mattered.
Absolutely.
Specifically, Cody Martin guarding Keldon Johnson.
The Hornets won late because they made Keldon Johnson take bad shots.
He worked. Listen, I hate to cut you off.
No.
But Wes Bryant said the same thing at halftime. Keldon Johnson was too comfortable. He looked comfortable the entire game. And I kept saying, man, why don't somebody be physical with this dude? Knock this dude on the ground, whatever, double team him or whatever. Right. He was just comfortable. and when it mattered the most, man, they, like you said, they made him take tough shots. So
he took 3 3-pointers of those six shots. He took 3 3-pointers, and as Del Curry pointed out, the Hornets did not play well offensively in the final stretch, but they played so well defensively, and they took the smart shots.
Yep.
They were in the bonus. They went to the free throw line. They knocked down the free throws. They were able to win the game, a close game by 6 points, a game that had 34 lead changes, the most in any NBA game.
And listen, man, like there are some who argue that this game shouldn't have been as close as what it was. I don't know if I'd agree with that because here's the thing, man. Regardless of that fact or not, we can argue that all day. But to your point, when they're making the smart plays in the fourth quarter and they're hitting free throws, hopefully that's a sign of growth because we damn sure have not seen that beforehand.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? So
if Miles Bridges plays better, the Hornets win going away.
And let me say something. Miles Bridges played terrible last night.
36 minutes, 3 for 10 points. He did have 6 assists and 6 rebounds.
He took some horrible shots. He played terrible.
But our backcourt, when LaMelo and Terry,
unstoppable.
Yes, when they decide,
when they're clicking together,
it's over.
It's over.
LaMelo 24, 7 and 8, 4 for 9 from 3. Rozier 31, 6 and 5, 6 for 8 from 3. How do you stop those guys?
You don't.
Yeah. Now, if only they could just keep their guys in front of them on defense. That's a whole nother.
Because look, it wasn't just Keldon Johnson, man. It was DeJounte Murray, who is an all-star. Let's be clear. He's an all-star for a reason, man.
Yeah, he played very well last night.
And Vassell played very well. I mean, he played pretty well as well, man. So
also, only one player on either team had double-digit rebounds. Who was that?
For us. Double-digit rebounds.
The Spurs had double-digit rebounds.
No, this can't be right. Wait. Wait. Mason Plumlee is the only guy who had double-digit rebounds?
In the entire game. That sequence in which the Spurs had 3 straight offensive rebounds, he was not on the floor. He got subbed in immediately after that. Mason, we talked about this before. Mason Plumlee is playing better since the Montrezl Harrell signing. Maybe it's because he knows that his minutes could be in danger,
right?
Or that's just the energy that Montrezl Harrell brings, or who knows? He's been doing what the Hornets need him to do. He's still not great on defense, unfortunately, but the Hornets have needed a rebounder forever.
Forever, yeah.
And he's rebounding the ball well. So. A good win by the Hornets only because a lot of people are kind of poo-pooing the win because they feel like it shouldn't have been that close against a team that they are better than. But I think that's why it's a good win. We've seen the Hornets fall. We saw them do it against Detroit just last week.
Right.
We saw them falter in crunch time against that team, and in this game, they did not. They stuck to their principles and were able. Now, granted, they did shoot well. They shot 38%. From 3, 46% from the field. You're not going to get 38% from 3 every game.
Yeah.
But to not score a field goal down the stretch and win on free throws alone.
And look, here's another key stat, man. They held the Spurs at 20 points in the fourth quarter.
When was the last time they held anybody 20 points in the first quarter?
The last 2 games we've seen the trend, 18 points and 20 points in the fourth quarter for the opposing team. They do that more often. Sky's the limit, man.
Max and Artist says, do we talk about PJ now or later?
What you want to talk about? Let's talk about PJ.
Okay, so it's weird because wasn't 2 weeks ago, wasn't we man, PJ?
I just said the same thing.
PJ, you need to do something. When he's doing something. Last night he had 15 points, 5 rebounds, 6 for 13 from the field, 3 for 9. Those aren't eye-popping stats, but if you watch the game, we don't win that game without P.J. Washington.
Let me tell you something. Here's my summation of P.J. Washington, and this is particularly since he's kind of been moved to his natural position of 4. Mm-hmm. He's doing things quietly, and mainly on the defensive end is where I'm noticing his impact. If you notice, P.J. Washington is getting probably more minutes since the Montrezl Harrell trade. He had 37 minutes last game. PJ usually is around 28, 27 minutes, but lately he's been upwards of 30 minutes. And I think the reason we're seeing that is because he defends the 4 a lot better than he defends the 5.
Yes.
And I think that's where his impact is. Maybe it's taken away from some of his offensive game. He hasn't had some great offensive game. I mean, 15 is decent. You know what I mean? It's pedestrian. But I think what we're seeing from PJ, his effect is on the defensive end.
Absolutely. A lot of people don't realize this about PJ. Everyone thinks Borrego has his favorites, which every coach does. PJ Washington is one of his favorites.
He's one of his favorites.
You guys don't remember, but remember when we drafted PJ Washington and everyone was kind of lukewarm, like,
right. Everybody's just like, whatever.
That's a good pick, whatever. And then when it was like, well, we're gonna send him to the G League, everyone was like, whatever. And then he's been a day one starter since then. The coaching staff said there's something about this guy, which is weird because Borrego doesn't play as rookies or young guys. You know, day one starter as a rookie, but he doesn't. Right. I don't. Do they watch the games? But
have they been here?
But I think PJ, now that he's, like you said, been able to slide back into his natural position, is playing a lot better basketball. So now the question is, what's going to happen? He's going to be at the end of his rookie scale contract next season. Presumably, we will have paid Miles this season. We better. Probably, maybe Cody.
Right.
Do we pay PJ? Now he's not gonna be in line for a max contract like Miles probably is.
Look, man, this is gonna sound a little corny. PJ Washington to me is a guy you keep around for your culture. Mm-hmm. Let me explain, man. If I'm gonna sound so casual fan when I say this. If I'm Michael Jordan and I'm looking down at my franchise, and me and Michael are. And Michael is having a conversation with Mitch, and I kind of visualize what I want for the Hornets culture. PJ Washington fits perfectly in that. Here's what I mean by that. PJ Washington has been asked to do everything outside of himself for 3 seasons now. You know what I mean? And he hasn't complained. He hasn't none of that. He hasn't. He's guarded the 5 position when he's not a 5. They put him on the bench after he started. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's done everything that this organization has asked of him without complaining at all. He's gotten benched before, responded to it. He's the consummate professional, man.
Which is so. Why isn't he fighting Borrego on the sidelines? I don't get it.
You know what? It's amazing how coaches respond to you when you're professional. Ain't that something?
Yeah.
Wow.
You come in,
you come in and you work hard and you earn stuff. You earn minutes. No, what a concept, man.
He was a first round pick. He
just walk into it.
Right? Yeah, he was supposed to start game 1.
I got you.
I think PJ is he's one of the glue guys. He should be a core of this team moving forward. It's going to be interesting. If he takes a big leap next season, it's just going to be interesting to see where the Hornets stand with him as far as letting him go into restricted free agency. They're going to make him a qualifying offer. And you know what? He'll do like the NBA just needs to do away with qualifying offers.
Yeah, I agree.
Because players,
they're pointless.
Players are not going to accept them in today's culture.
Right.
They're going to bet on themselves and say, let me see what the offers look like in restricted free agency, and I'm going to force you to match.
Which is smart.
Yes. Why would you accept a qualifying offer? Why?
Right.
You know, unless you know if other teams are going to make an offer for you or not.
Well, unless you outsuck your contract.
That's
and
true.
Nobody else is.
Yeah, that might be a reason why you accept the qualifying offer. But for PJ, he's not going to accept the qualifying offer,
right?
Especially because Miles Bridges has set the precedent.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I'm betting on myself. So, all right, the next time you guys see us, we will have played 3 games. We have a brutal back-to-back, the Brooklyn Nets, and then the Boston Celtics, another team that is a thorn on our side. We play them on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then we have a day break, and then Friday we play the much maligned New Orleans Pelicans.
No. The team from New Orleans. We don't acknowledge. Oh, that's right. We don't acknowledge them.
No. I call them the Pelicans because I still think that's a dumb name. That's worse than the Bobcats.
Point taken.
So,
man, this is.
By the way, those of you who are wanting to join the Hornets Facebook group, one of the questions is who is the greatest Hornet player of all time? Don't put Chris Paul.
You will get kicked out of the group immediately.
We get a lot of people putting Chris Paul.
You will get kicked out of the group immediately if you put Chris Paul. No questions asked.
All right, your predictions for next week.
Man, this is hard. I ain't gonna lie, dude. This is a hard prediction to make, man. My first thought is 1 and 2 because I always just kind of like to keep my picks safe. You know, if you're above us in the standings, I'm just gonna pick you. Man, I'm gonna go safe again, man. I'm gonna go 1 and 2. But it also would not surprise me if we go 2 and 1.
2 and 1. Okay. So
let me tell you something. You know what? The Hornets, we're weird. Okay, it would not surprise me if we mess around and beat Brooklyn and lose the next two.
My pick is that we beat Brooklyn, lose to Boston, and New Orleans is a toss-up. I'm going to pick us to win that game because we should win that game. So at this point in the season, you look at trends.
Yeah.
Brooklyn, for some reason, is trending down.
But then Kevin Durant decides to come back.
He's going to decide to come back. But they're not – Brooklyn never gets it going until the playoffs.
Right.
Even with Kevin Durant.
Right.
And Boston has been trending up.
They're rolling right now.
Completely different team than they were
Right.
even the last time the Hornets played them. I know the Hornets always play them tough. And we kind of feel like we owe Boston one, so I think it's going to be a close game, but I'm going to pick Boston to win, even though those are home games. In New Orleans, I mean –
that's a toss-up.
Because we should win that game.
We should win, but you know how we do.
Yeah. You know. I do think it's –
That's gonna be another close game. Watch, it's gonna be another just
off topic, on topic for New Orleans. They seem to be all out on Zion. The press releases, the publicity package for next season's Pelican season tickets came out, and it does not include or mention Zion Williamson.
Did you see the clip of the parade and they have a exaggerated, real fat Zion in the parade, the Mardi Gras parade? Did you see that?
No.
So there's a Mardi Gras parade. And there's this big old blimp of Zion Williamson. He's really fat. He has So
let me ask you this: should the Hornets call and see what's up?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Hell yes. Yes.
Listen, I know a lot of every team is going to call and see what's up.
Listen. I'm going to keep this real simple for you. I'm not going to go into no big spiel about that. I'm going to keep this real simple. LaMelo Ball, Zion Williamson for the next 10 years. I'll keep it at that. Just envision that for the next 10 years.
You trade Miles for him?
Hell yeah. Yes. I love me some Miles Bridges, but sorry. Yeah.
I'll tell you this much. We'd win more games only because we'd get better referees. I don't know if you guys saw the report that's been around the internet. Somebody on Reddit did an aggregate score of referees based on their experience and was able to essentially create a table showing which teams got the most experienced refs, which teams got the least, and which team got the most rookie refs. Y'all can just guess where Charlotte was.
Toward the bottom. Towards
the very bottom. We had the second most amount of games with rookie referees with 19. OKC was number one with 20.
One more thing about Zion. People can say whatever they want to about Zion, but this dude was putting up 26 a game in his sleep before all the stuff went down with him. And so
I hope his health's okay. I don't want to see him be another Greg Oden.
Hey, look, I think it is. Look, people can say whatever they want to about Stephen A. Smith, but he made a good point. He believes that all that stuff ain't really about health. It's about Zion Williamson never really wanting to be in New Orleans.
I agree.
100% agree.
I agree. You guys think he wouldn't want to come to Charlotte?
With LaMelo Ball?
He played at Duke.
Man, you know what? All right, let's stop fantasizing.
About to roll up 2K as soon as the show over. Roll up 2K. All right. It was a historic event. Two historic events that happened, but
I'm trying not to laugh because there's something that happened at the end of that game that we're going to talk about that it was hilarious. But go ahead, man.
We're talking about which game? We talking about
the send off.
Okay, let's talk about the send off.
Yeah.
All right. So the greatest rivalry in all sports, University of North Carolina, Duke University played yesterday basketball, and Coach Mike Krzyzewski, who's announced his retirement, this was his last game coaching the Duke Blue Devils against North Carolina Tar Heels, and the Tar Heels were able to come away and win that game kind of convincingly, almost to the point where it made me wonder about their particular record or their standings. Duke is ranked number 5 with 5 losses, but North Carolina is 22-8. Well, they are unranked.
And to add to that, they don't have a lot of bad losses, which it makes it even more puzzling. You know what I mean?
But it's kind of weird though that Mike Krzyzewski loses to an unranked
How
team.
fitting is that?
An unranked team with a first-year coach that just happens to be his rival team. That's incredibly, incredibly fitting.
So I'll be completely honest with you, man. Before this game, because judging from the first game at Chapel Hill, I expected the second game to go the same way. I really did, man. And I'm just being honest with you. And if you look at talent, which me and you both know, talent isn't everything. You know what I mean? Like there's a fine line between a basketball team that has more talent versus just a better team. Duke is clearly the more talented team. Banchero is a man, okay?
Yes.
That dude is a man amongst boys. And I'm going to tell you something, man. AJ Griffin made me look very bad because I was bragging to him so much about to you. Remember, I was telling you about this kid, AJ Griffin from Duke, and he didn't show up last night at all. But aside from all of that, man, I say all this to say, give Hubert Davis a lot of props, dude.
I was just about to say, were we too hard on Hubert Davis last year?
Yes. Yeah. That look, considering the gravity of that situation, Coach K going out, you got all the alumni, and you got 80 former Duke players, and the environment is already crazy, but then add the gravity to that situation, and for him to rally those troops and go in there and not just win, but they pretty much kicked Duke's ass.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive, man.
Yeah. There's also a news report that one of the assistants refused to shake hands with Hubert Davis, Chris Carrawell, who is a Duke alum, by the way. He played for 4 seasons. Just clearly in the video kind of blows Hubert Davis off. That's Duke shit. That's kind of stuff they do.
And that's why people hate Duke.
Right, yeah.
That's Bobby Hurley, Christian Laettner shit right there.
That's why, it's funny. There's a graphic on Facebook, and it's like a drawn artwork of Coach K, and it's got like all these legendary Duke players, Christian Laettner and Jay Williams is there. I mean, Jay Williams is a good college player. Yeah. But I'm looking at it was like 20 players, and only three of them were NBA All-Stars. It was Kyrie Irving, Jason Tatum, and I don't remember who the third one was. One Zion, Grant Hill. Zion has not played an All-Star game yet. So I'm just like, wow, that's Coach Mike Krzyzewski, when it comes to college coaches,
I mean, he's a savant. He's top 3 at the worst.
Right, yeah. You could make the argument greatest college coach of all time, especially when you consider the work that he's done with USA basketball and the Olympic team.
Right.
And just, he's an old school style coach, so I know the transition to the evolution to one and done was tough for him.
Right.
And I think that's part of the reason why he bowed out when he did. But it's really hard to deny what he's done on the collegiate level.
Yeah.
I just always think it's funny that none of that translates to the NBA for like any of his players except for Grant Hill.
Except for a few.
Grant Hill. And people are going to say, well, Jason Tatum and Kyrie Irving, they barely played at Duke. Yeah.
They had a cup of coffee at Duke.
Yeah, Zion played 1 season because he had to.
Right.
To make him to go to the NBA. So, but farewell, Coach K. Still one of the best basketball video games.
Oh, dude.
Ever.
Dude, come on now.
Ever. Coach K basketball for Sega Genesis.
And then the pettiness of not putting North Carolina on the
game. I was so disappointed as a 12-year-old loading that game up and seeing that I could not pick the Tar Heels on that game.
Had a squad too.
So I picked UCLA because they had the O'Bannon brothers.
Yeah.
And,
I used to just break the backboard.
Break the backboard, yep.
But I quickly just want to some quick talking points to the game. We won't spend too much time on this, man. UNCC outscored Duke 55-40 in the second half, dude. I want to give props to Manick from Duke. He's never mentioned amongst North Carolina fans. Brady Manick, big old white boy, never mentioned amongst Carolina fans. Without him, they don't win that game, dude.
Nope.
I mean, 20 points. Didn't shoot 7 for 16, but 5 for 10 from 3, 11 boards. they don't win that game without him, man. Baycott 23-7, 10 for 11 from the field, man. Again, gutsy, gritty performance.
He's like Eric Montross 2.0. I mean,
he can shoot.
Carolina has a history of like giant white dudes in the paint.
Got Serge Zwicker. Remember him?
Yes.
Serge Zwicker?
Yes.
All right. Quick question. What is your favorite Carolina Duke moment? Do you have a favorite Carolina Duke moment?
I don't know if I have a favorite singular moment.
Or is there a game or anything?
Because they played so many.
It's hard to remember. It's hard to remember every one of them.
The tournament wins, and
I'll give you one. I'll give you a couple. I remember Jerry Stackhouse's dunk when he came from under the rim, and that's one. The game where Capel hit it from half court. Just the moment was dope. What's another one, man? I don't know. It's hard to remember. It's a lot. There's so many.
Because they play each other, at least twice a year, and then they, how many times they've met up in the ACC tournament. Yeah. The rivalry will continue to go on, of course, without Coach K, just like it did, when Dean Smith retired. But I will say this: college basketball is not the same as it was. Mm-hmm. So, I will say that the rivalry has lost some of its shine because neither of those schools have had great football programs. Right. UNC has had a little better football program, and I think ever since Florida State was introduced into the ACC all those years ago, that has helped. But basketball is the premier matchup.
Absolutely.
And considering where college basketball is kind of on the slide lately, so is this rivalry.
I mean, look, man, I've always been grumpy old man when it comes to college basketball. One and done killed the entertainment value. I'm sorry. It did, man. Because, I mean, if you look at those Duke Carolina rivalries back in the day, it was players who were there for 2 and 3 years.
Yep.
So it made it that much more engaging. You had Christian Laettner and Bobby Hurley going against Eric Montross and whoever else was playing for Dante Calabria and guys who were there for multiple years, which made it more engaging.
2 votes so far for the Danny Green dunk. I think I'm going to agree with with that one.
Right.
There was another historic moment in the Carolinas last night.
Yes, sir.
Charlotte FC,
man,
played their very first home game.
Sold it out.
74,000 people. That's an MLS record. Beating the previous record held by Atlanta.
So nice to see football being played in that stadium again.
Yes, exactly. What's funny? MLS, the Charlotte Football Club is going to break attendance records in the Carolina Panther Stadium. They're going to get more fans per game than the Panthers are going to get.
I can't say I'm not happy about it. Is that cynical?
I mean, here's the thing, though. That's bad because Tepper is going to be like, well, the Panthers suck, but hey, Charlotte FC's making me money.
We're going to get to the Panthers in a minute, but go on about
it. I just wanted to say that, man.
My blood pressure just went up a little bit when you said Panthers, man.
Yeah, I know. So I had to switch between the 3 games that were being played.
See, this is why you should have came by.
Yeah, I should. I should have. But I was Hornets, Carolina Duke, and Charlotte FC, and because the Charlotte FC game is a little bit longer, I was able to watch the end of the second half. I came in; it was about 70 minutes, so I watched that, and then the extended minutes. And you know what I'm gonna say.
Yep. Why is it consistent with Charlotte sports?
Referees
hate Charlotte sports?
Hate Charlotte.
Even the damn soccer team.
If you can grab somebody when they clearly have what's going to be a good kick on goal. It was clear he was going to get a kick on goal, and you hold the guy, and the refs are just kind of like, because I know that.
But what did I tell you what was the worst part of it? What was the worst part of that call? The Galaxy go score a damn goal.
They go right down, and although our players were at the one they were so deflated because they hadn't been getting very many scoring chances that game compared to the Galaxy, who at that point had 17 kicks on goal.
Hey, I got something for you. These were complaints from the last match, from the last Charlotte FC match.
That's true. Yeah.
And listen, hey guys, disclaimer: we're not soccer guys.
We're not soccer guys.
Let's be very clear about that. However, we take our information from and our sources from people who do follow the sport, and we also have eyes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I know the rules of soccer well enough to know that that's a bad call. We got shafted on the offsides call last game. I mean, I guess by the letter of the law, that was a fair call, but I feel like we just didn't get a good whistle from the refs. We're getting rooked.
Yeah,
we're getting rooked. You can't let. I think they're the Galaxy's the Galaxy.
Yeah,
in the short infancy of MLS, they got
best. They got a cup.
Yeah, they're the best team.
Yep.
In the history of MLS, so they're gonna get those kind of calls. I just hate that it was a guy who scored a goal on us. That was like his 5th goal in 55 professional games. Come on, bro. That's some Charlotte Hornets shit, ain't it?
That's random guys scoring 40 on us. Yeah. That's
God. Hey, but I'm very glad to see that. I hope that Charlotte FC can be like the Charlotte Hornets from an attendance standpoint.
Yeah.
Of MLS, like if those of you that remember the Hornets from 1988 to 2002,
and how we stood up in the plot while getting beat by 40.
Yeah, the Hornets still would have, if they had never left the city, would have still been breaking those attendance records, in my opinion. So hopefully Charlotte FC can see that same level of support.
So
maybe it'll translate to some success.
Look, man, I don't want to be a cynic, but I do have a concern, and I hope it doesn't come to fruition. Let me be very clear about that. I don't want Charlotte FC to get to a point where the novelty wears off. And then everybody's like, I might go to soccer game, I might not.
But you know what? I think that Charlotte we have a fairly sizable Latino and Hispanic community
who are going to be all in on it.
They're going to support Charlotte FC.
And I was going to say the dynamic of the fan base is
and I think that helps us a lot. I think that's one of the reasons why we got a team.
Yeah,
was because yes, there are going to be people who are not big football fans that the novelty will wear off.
Right.
But you're going to have these people. I mean, I have some good friends from Guadalajara.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I go to their house,
soccer.
They're watching soccer.
Right.
So they're obviously huge Charlotte FC fans, and you're going to continue to have that support. Unlike a city like Atlanta, who's won an MLS championship, and their fans are just kind of like, whatever.
Let's go a little 5 points.
Exactly. So, so good on Charlotte FC. Hopefully, they're new, so Tepper doesn't have a chance to run them into the ground. Unlike the team that we're going to switch our focus to close the show out, the North Carolina Panthers.
The North Carolina Panthers.
Isn't that what Puffy called them?
Puffy called them. The North Carolina Panthers. Go away, Diddy.
So you guys know what the definition of insanity is.
Oh, God, man.
You do the same thing over and over expecting a different result.
Dude.
That is what the Carolina Panthers are doing.
Mr. Kazasose, let me start this conversation off by saying one thing. I'm going to just say this one thing about this one player, man. If I hear Kenny Pickett's name one more time, I don't know what I'm going to do. And specifically, I saw an article. This is the scary part. You ready for this? David Tepper is all in on Kenny Pickett.
Wasn't he all in on Teddy Bridgewater? Wasn't he all in? He was all in on Cam Newton when he bought the team.
Oh, my God, man. I don't know where to go with this. No, I'm lying. I know where to go with this. Since I'm talking in the last 2 days, here's all the quarterbacks that I've seen mentioned, okay? Kenny Pickett, Malik Willis, Mitchell Trubisky, and then there's this we still have this far-fetched fantasy of Deshaun Watson. What are we doing? What are we really doing here? Are you scared? Are you like? I
am.
Are you?
Because
that's the question.
I'm reading a report on ESPN that says, I'm just going to read the headline. Kenny Pickett's hands measure 8.5 inches,
small hands,
smaller than any quarterback currently in the NFL. Now, here's why that's crazy. The Panthers did not pick the number 1 rated offensive tackle in the draft last season because they said his arms were too short. The Kenny Pickett has the smallest hands. It's even such a news story that The Ringer, I have not read this article, has an article called A Brief History of Tiny-Handed Quarterbacks at the NFL Combine. I'm going to read that because I'm sure
fire away.
There's a lot of
oh boy.
Yeah, there's just a bunch of articles about how small his hands are at the Combine. That's not good. He's a smallish quarterback. He's 6'3", but he's only 220. Small hands. I mean, he went to Pitt.
You know what the sensible thing would be to do? You know what would make most sense is you would what has been the history for the Carolina Panthers when it comes to picking in the first round? What do they always do? Pick the best BPA.
Yep.
That has worked out for them at least in the first round for a decade at least. Okay.
I mean,
Pickett's not the best player available.
He's not.
I'm sorry, man.
Is he the best quarterback available, though? First team All-American, first team All-ACC, ACC Player of the Year, ACC Offensive Player of the Year, the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award.
Listen,
I mean,
I'm going to tell you something, Cousin. Film is film, okay? The combine can trick you, right?
Yes.
Hasn't every NFL team been tricked by the combine before?
Absolutely.
With all that being said, Malik Willis is clearly more talented than Kenny Pickett.
Yes.
When it comes to film and just looking at.
What if Malik Willis isn't available when we pick?
There's an offensive tackle from Alabama. God, man, I wish I was more prepared and I had his name. Okay, if he's there, to me, it's a no-brainer.
I feel like if the Panthers don't draft an offensive lineman,
it's a failure, missed opportunity.
They're gonna have to call National Guard back in here, like they did 5 years ago during the uprising. If you don't draft the offensive lineman, I don't care if he's the worst dude in the draft. He better be an offensive lineman, I think, is what.
But we share the same concern, man. Like, we keep spinning our wheels trying to find magical quarterback, man. We're just going about it like.
Well, but I think Tepper understands. He understands that you gotta have a capable quarterback.
We agree with that.
You have to.
But you also have to go about getting him the right way.
But the only way to really get a quarterback that's going to change your franchise into a winning franchise is to draft him. That is historically in the NFL. That is how it's always worked. Very rarely have you seen a team. I guess you could use the Rams. They went and got Matt Stafford, but they also had the best defense in the league.
I agree, Kaza. I 100% agree with that. But you know what my fear with that is? My fear is that we're turning into the Chicago Bears.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You know exactly what I mean by that.
No, absolutely. No, that's 100% bang on. You just draft who you think is the best quarterback in the draft, and he ends up if the quarterback you draft isn't the best player in the draft, then he's probably not going to be a franchise quarterback.
And I look, and I also have this fear as well. I mean, this is just kind of this is more fan stuff than it is NFL analytics stuff, man. Malik Willis is really hot. Like the Denver Broncos are really sold on Malik Willis as well. And I just have this fear, like if he goes there and we end up with Kenny Pickett and Malik Willis goes on to be. It's
going to be just like Von Miller.
Right.
I mean, we got Cam Newton. I'm not.
Right.
I'm not. That was a good.
You get what I'm saying.
But I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So I'm scared. I look, this is probably the first year I'm probably not looking forward to the Panthers NFL.
I'm not either.
Because I'm scared of what we're going to do.
I'm going to say something crazy. I miss Marty Hurney.
Wow, that's big.
I mean, because I know Marty Hurney at least in the first round. Y'all can say whatever you want to say about Marty Hurney
outside of the first round. That first round,
the way he gave Cap contract.
Listen, Marty Hurney don't hit singles and doubles in the first round. He hits home runs. He hits home runs.
He got a lot of yellow jackets.
Yeah, for real.
More than a lot of GMs. So
absolutely.
I know that if Marty Hurney was here, he's going to pick the best guy.
But more specifically, here's what I'm worried about, man. I've said this consistently throughout the Panther season. I'm worried that Fitterer, Rule, and Tipper are not on the same page.
No, they're not. Yeah, we talked about this 2 years ago when it was like, okay, so who's
running the show?
Yeah,
who's running the show?
Whose team?
But you know the scary part about it is I get the impression it's more Matt Rule than any of them. That's the impression I get. What do you think about that?
No, yeah, I do get the impression that Matt Rule that you don't bring a guy like Matt Rule to the NFL and then not let him build his team, because that's why you hired him, right?
And not only hired him, but you paid him $1 billion.
You said, okay, in college you built these solid teams. You don't bring him to the NFL and then cripple what he did in college.
Hey man, Bill Parcells had a famous saying. He said, "Look, man," he said, "don't let me go to the grocery store and not let me pick my own groceries." And I believe Matt Rule is probably in a similar situation.
But I mean, GM coaches never work. I mean,
there's like 2 out of 1,000.
Bill Belichick, but even Bill Belichick's not great at drafting.
Yeah, true.
Patriots fans always hate his drafting. I mean, he's just a good coach. I just don't see that working out well. I'm so scared about the Panthers. You know, I'm gonna go get my Allied jersey, my rock Charlotte FC, and as far as I'm concerned, Bank of America Stadium
is a soccer stadium.
The pitch looked really good last night, man. Watching it on the.
No, it was beautiful. I mean, they did look. Whoever's in charge of like in stadium presentation,
the giant Queen Charlotte,
man, it was awesome.
Man, that was great.
They did an incredible job with presentation last night, man.
They did, yeah,
they really did.
So
that was beautiful.
Tepper, bring some of that.
But no, I disagree. Bring a damn good football team first. We'll worry about all that other stuff later, man.
Yeah, but you're right. We've had that with it's been 30 years. Come on, bro.
Let the team be good first.
Oh boy.
Yeah, man. I'm scared, dude.
Are we doing a draft party?
It's our duty to. we kind
of have to do a draft party.
We kind of have to, man.
We know it's just gonna be garbage.
Yeah.
Oh well. Boy. All right, you got any shout outs?
Seeing it on a set.
Hornets gonna lose. Panthers suck. Refs hate us.
I don't know if this is a shout out or shout at. I don't know what this is. I just want to mention the Brittany Griner situation in Russia. I will just say this. That is a highly unfortunate situation. And I also have, and look, I don't know if I'm going to sound like a jerk when I say this, but you're in Russia right now. Got to make some good decisions there, man.
I'm just saying.
Come on, man.
Don't.
It's a sensitive time with Russia.
Don't go to Bompton wearing blue jeans and red J's.
That's all.
You know what I'm saying? Don't do that.
With that being said, with that being said, man, I still am hoping for a safe resolution with that. Now we bring her home, get her out of there, whatever you got to do to make that happen, man. We don't want a situation where she's in prison 10 years over some garbage. So yeah. But I guess that's my closing remarks for today.
I'm just gonna say a shout out to Charlotte sports fans.
Hang in there.
Like, I understand the frustration over Charlotte sports teams, but my thing is this: like, I am patient because I've been patient this long.
Why not be patient more?
Exactly. I mean, a lot of people. I've been a fan since '88. I'm one of y'all. I've been a fan since '88 and '93.
Hey, look, here's my jerk statement I'm going to make. I'm sorry. This has to be said. There's a fine line between just calling yourself a fan and being engaged. I will keep it at that. But go ahead, sir.
No, yeah, absolutely. So I understand your frustration. I want all of our sports teams to put a good product out, and I'll give them the amount of support that I feel like they deserve at the time.
Right.
But I think especially with today's culture,
everybody wants what they want right now.
I'm just saying, when it comes to teams like the Charlotte Hornets, I made this post earlier in the Hornets group. The biggest knock on the Charlotte Hornets was always, particularly since Jordan bought the team, was poor drafting, lack of player development. Those are the two biggest knocks on the Hornets. So what did Michael Jordan do? He fired everyone. And when I say everyone,
even his friends.
His
friends.
He even fired If you guys, those of you who are in the job market, if you went and looked at NBA jobs around 2016, it was like IT jobs. I mean, he fired everybody. Got rid of them.
Yep.
When his guy his buddy Mitch, who was a good GM, he got 7 of them.
Yep.
Okay.
Say what you want to about the man.
Got 7 of them, and then he went and got 2 coaches known exclusively for player development. James Borrego, who got 2 of them, by the way. He got 2 of them. And
those are pops.
Yeah, those are pop rings. And then he hired Jay Triano, who is like known in the NBA as like a savant of player development. And in the last 4 seasons, the Hornets have drafted well and developed players well. We got exactly what we wanted. But the complaints that I see are that we got exactly what we wanted. The Hornets, man, we need to figure out how to bring a superstar here. We need to. You just said.
Time out.
3 years ago.
Time out.
I digress.
Okay. How do you say we need to find a way to bring a superstar here when it's very probable we drafted one?
We got right. We did that.
Can I say something? Look, man. I stop me if I'm going on a tangent. Just tell me to shut up.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
I'm in your show too.
Listen, man. When I said a statement a few seconds ago, there's a difference between calling yourself a fan and being engaged. I'm not trying to say this to wear a badge of honor. I'm not trying to call myself Jamal the super fan. But here's where I'm coming from with this. I was around. When I say around, I was going to games when we were 7-59. I remember Rich Cho being here. I remember Sam Vincent being the coach of the Charlotte Bobcats. I remember Bernie Bickerstaff saying, you know what, man, I don't want this job. I remember Mike Dunlap losing the locker room. I remember Larry Brown completely losing the locker room. I have seen real dysfunction.
Yes.
Okay?
I remember when Del Curry got hired as a coach and then left. For reasons that are still unknown to this day.
I have a theory about that, Kaiser. Okay, here's something interesting. Del Curry, for those who have seen Del Curry or talked to him, whatever, he is one of the most genuine, nicest people you will ever meet. He doesn't have anything bad to say about anybody. Del Curry's on WFNZ one day. Hey, Del, what do you think about Boris Diaw? Completely unprofessional, couldn't play with anybody like him. I'm glad he's gone. Exact quote by Del Curry.
Wow.
That man played it, and Del Curry said, I don't want to deal with this.
Yep.
I'm saying this to say I have seen real dysfunction with this franchise. This ain't it, y'all.
I'll be honest. I feel like the trajectory the Hornets on is better than it's been in the last
ever
since they came back to the city.
Bobcats era on forward. We've been in the best place since the Bobcats
since we
era.
came back to the city in 2004.
Yeah,
I can't think of any. Even the Larry Brown team.
Listen, man. I'm gonna say this again. Sam Vincent was the damn coach of this team. I remember Sam Vincent inexplicably starting Jeff McGinnis over Jason Richardson. Let me stop because I'm going to tangent, man.
Yeah.
So
be patient.
Stay
the course.
Stay the course. Yeah.
I guess that's the new hashtag.
That's the new. Stay the course, y'all. Just patience, y'all. And look, man. Hey, fans want. Look, man. This is instant grits. We don't want to wait. We've been waiting for 30 years. We've been waiting all this time. I don't want to wait.
Hey, you're gonna have to.
I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Hey, man.
I'm not.
Hey, that Brooklyn bandwagon looks fun, don't it?
Y'all need to hop off that. Hop off Brooklyn, Lakers. The Lakers bandwagon.
Ooh, boy,
that's crashing.
That's the Titanic right now. Boy.
I think it's so. This is how I'm gonna leave the show. I think it's so ironic that LeBron James called out how much he hated the play-in game. Right. But if not for the play-in game, he'd only have one playoff appearance in 4 seasons. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy. Who would? That's insane.
And the only playoff appearance that they have is the bubble.
On that note.
By the way, getting ready to play a playing game next year. Thank God.
I'm kind of happy about that.
I'm kind of happy.
I'm more of an NBA traditionalist, honestly, man. And
I feel like the playing game actually hurts teams like the Hornets instead of. I know the NBA feels like it achieves parity,
right?
But I think it hurts.
Plus, I want the teams to earn it the hard way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you got 8 seed, you 8 seed.
You 8 seed. That's it.
All right.
It's been fun, man.
Yeah, it's been fun. Hopefully, this week is a good week for everyone.
Yeah.
Charlotte fans. And,
man.
We will see you guys next week. Take care of each other. Stay the course.
Peace out, y'all.